Hello, everybody. How's it going? It's Joe. Welcome back to another episode of the Inside Our Phillies podcast. This has been a pretty active week in Phillies land, baseball land. Apologies for the delay in getting this to you, but we are here now, and we have Jeremy, SJ Phil's fan once again. How are you doing?
Doing well. Yeah, no. It started like every day. It was just like one more addition. So good thing we didn't do any emergency podcasts. Otherwise, we have like 5.
Yeah, this could have been a very busy week of podcasting, and instead it's a little quieter. We'll we apologize for the delay in getting out this week. We wanted many times to get an episode out earlier, but just never fully came together. But yeah, let's talk about the news that we have missed on in the last few days, starting with Brad Keller signing as a Philly. Now, obviously, at this point, we can't evaluate Brad Keller without the context of Matt Strahm also being traded. So I think we kind of have to talk about those things simultaneously at this point, right? Brad Keller signed to a 2-year, $22 million deal, and Matt Strahm essentially salary dumped in trade for, what was the guy's name? Jonathan Bowden.
Bowden,
yeah. Bowden. A right-handed reliever with no options. So I guess we'll go to you on this one, Jeremy. Before the Strahm news, what did you think about Brad Keller being signed?
Oh, I mean, I love it. I mean, just look at his Baseball Savant page from the last year. It's all red.
Yeah. Are you concerned about the fact that it was his first year as a reliever, and maybe there's some regression that he's due for? Now this is a reliever for longer.
No. I mean, this is very common. Especially in like the olden days of like, guy would be like a middling mid-tier 5th starter until he hit free agency, then become a reliever and take off.
Yeah. It's not like he, had a drastic overperformance. His FIP was still under 3. That's what we like to see. It's not an intentional rhyme. This guy does have a decent track record, even as a starter. His first 3 years, he had accumulated 9 WAR across his first 3 years as a starting pitcher, mostly. And I think that's pretty remarkable to see. He actually did have some relief appearances in his first year. I wish I knew what the splits were like on how he looked like in his relief appearances in 2018. But anyways, you're getting a guy for his age, 30, 31 season. And I think it's a pretty low risk move. Like, relievers are just so cheap, and I'm all for, adding to the bullpen.
Well, especially like swing gut. Like, if God forbid all the million injuries happen, we have a guy who's proven he can be passable for a stretch.
Yeah, no, that's right. I guess like what I would say though is so is Strahm, right? Like, Strahm had proven himself to be able to go multiple innings and stuff like that, but I feel like the Phillies at times kind of shoehorned Matt Strahm into being this 1-inning guy, and I feel like they hate relievers pitching more than 1 inning. Like, they'll avoid it at pretty much any cost, which kind of I feel like comes back to bite them in the playoffs. But
I mean, the disappointment of growing up with Ryan Madsen, who was the king of 2+ innings when he was here. And that, but I think that like he wasn't. I would say he was better as a starter before he switched to relieving. But just do this on Baseball Reference. Look up Tom Gordon's career before he became a reliever. It's actually quite similar to Keller's. He started longer. He came up as a 20-year-old with the Royals, and we started till age 29. But like couple years over 3 WAR, but then just kind of like middling numbers. So
yeah,
I was surprised. I don't know why my brain went to this for some reason. I was like, the Tom Gordon's numbers just now. I was like, it's kind of a decent comparison.
No, it is. This guy's a multiple-time All-Star as a relief pitcher, 3-time All-Star as a relief pitcher, and again, he made that transition. In his age 29, 30 season, so pretty similar to Keller on that front. What a great comp!
He was a great Phillies closer for that 1 year.
Before Brad Lidge, right? He was the closer before Lidge. So
yeah, he was. He was 06, and then he got shoulder. He was 39 when he was 38 when he closed with us. But then 07, he was like hurt and stuff, and that's what they made Myers into the closer, and then 08 was Lidge. Yeah, so
Right. Very interesting stuff. That is a great comp, a great callback.
Yeah, Flash Gordon, which is a hilarious nickname considering his sons were the fast ones.
I remember him being back when they had the like alumni year where they were celebrating the years of Citizens Bank Park, and they brought this guy back, Tom Gordon, for like a first pitch, and they had him interviewed on the broadcast. And I honestly have not heard of him. I've mentioned before how kind of like I got into baseball after the 2008 Phillies, and the 2000 like to 2008 era is a major blind spot for me. So I was
Just
completely
yeah,
unaware of this guy before that.
yeah, no, yeah, he was. I mean, he really was like. It was also because like back then, 38 years old. Like, oh yeah, make him like our closer. He was a setup man for the Yankees. I mean, because yeah, he replaced Bill Wagner. So
Right. Phillies, in all honesty, they have a pretty good history of closers. Like throughout their history, they've had pretty solid closers. Like even you go back to like Hector Neris. A lot of people hated Hector Neris, but he was a perfectly serviceable closer, even if he'd give you a heart attack for a little while there.
no, no. I mean, I've posted this on the subreddit and the Discord so many times. Have you looked at Hector Neris's career by month?
I have not, no, but I think I know what
Okay,
it's gonna say.
well, no, April ERA 2.82, May 2.71, July 3.41, August 3.17, September October 3.29, June 5.76.
That's pretty funny.
Every freaking June, he would just suck a ball up, and my dad and I would just every single time like stop pitching him in June. It's just like so like we would all get like, oh my god, he's terrible because we would always get used because that big stretch and like oh it's the really it's like the big meat of the season. It's like June right before the All-Star break.
Right. That's
We
funny.
sucked then, and then he'd be
Hector Neris
and
was
then
on
you get
three
like heart
teams
attacks
last
the rest
year.
of the year.
He
Oh yeah, he's cooked. He's cooked now, but
accumulated negative -0.8 WAR across the Braves, the Angels, and the Astros. So yeah, it looks like he's
yeah, two
done.
games with the Braves, 0-1, homie.
Inside agent.
But yeah,
He did inside job.
yeah, no, but like Hector Neris cannot pitch in June. And he's pro with the Phillies. He just can't pitch in June. His numbers will look so much better if we just never used him in high leverage in June. So people always like heart attack Neris. I actually really like Neris. It's just like he was just terrible in June. It's just hysterical.
Yeah, heart attack Hector. He was fun. He was fun. I have a soft spot for Hector. But Brad Keller, I think he'll be better than Hector Neris was for the Phillies. So that's a good place to be.
Yeah.
But like I said, you kind of can't evaluate the Keller acquisition without also evaluating Strahm getting traded away to the Royals, the place where Matt Strahm made his major league debut. The Phillies got back a righty who does have major league experience, Jonathan Bowlen. Jonathan Bowlen, who has played for the Royals across 3 seasons, so he's out of options. Has an ERA of 4.32 and a FIP of closer to 5 across those 37 games. What do you make of this trade? I think there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, first I would say that like that social media post by Strahm was just it hit me in the feels.
It did. It was well written.
Yeah. But I've been very vocal about how this is the time to move on from Matt Strahm. If you look at his Baseball Savant page, it's constantly trending in the wrong direction each year. His fastball just got worse and worse and worse. And it was obvious last year. Like his numbers looked, his FIP, everything looks good from last year, everything. But the eye test was terrifying last year. And with relievers with how volatile they are, I feel the eye test is very important. And people may hate me for that, but yeah, like I'm in 2023 right now. We go 2025. Ground ball percentage is only 1%. His fastball velocity was now down to 20th percentile. The whiff weight was 37. Walk percentages was trending down too. It's just everything was like, especially from 2024 to 2025, it's a big drop in like everything scary that you don't want from a reliever. Walks, whiffs, pass velocity, all down. and he's going to be 34, not getting younger, and also he's sucked in the postseason for us.
Yeah, no, he has, I think, a reputation of kind of being a choker. My girlfriend, Matt Strahm, was probably her least favorite player on the team because she felt that whenever she watched, Matt Strahm would allow some kind of back-breaking, like tying home run or something like that, and she was not a Strahm fan. But I don't know. Me personally, I'm less positive on this trade than you. I agree that there are some pretty orange flags, we'll call them, about Matt Strahm. Um, but I would argue that with Jose Alvarado, it's straight up red. The flags with Alvarado were completely bright red. Coming off of a PED suspension and looking terrible, I feel like it's questionable that the Phillies are relying on somebody like that to kind of be their number one lefty reliever next year. And while maybe Strahm won't be a number one lefty reliever either, I think the downside risk of Alvarado is a lot higher than the downside risk of Matt Strahm being your number one reliever. And because of that, I think they might have traded the wrong lefty if they did want to, trade a lefty out of their bullpen.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it very well could bite us, but probably I don't know. I just Alvarado's velocity was still up when he came back, so maybe all that rest. I'm optimistic that hopefully he just is able to be more decent than what he was.
And I think that's kind of like part of the downside of steroids, right? Like we don't know how long Alvarado's been juicing for, and it kind of puts a lot into question for him. Because he did have stretches over these last couple of years where he's looked dominant, maybe not to the level that he looked in 2023, but he's also had stretches where he hasn't looked great. And you put all the stats combined with 2024 and 2025, and he has exactly a 4 ERA and a 107 ERA plus. With pretty good stats still, but I don't know. Like, I would take Strahm for 1 year and $7.5 million over Alvarado's 1 year and $9 million. That's just me.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'm trying to see like.
And why did we have to trade
medium?
either of them? Right? Like we're kind of discussing like, oh, you have to trade one, but like why do we have to trade one? I would argue that if you are really concerned about payroll and you need to get rid of some money just to be able to, maybe bring Realmuto back or figure out whatever's going to go on at the catching position, Alec Bohm is a much easier way to clear like $10 million more money than either of these guys are making. And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure you.
just trade him for any kind of just trade him for any like he has no trade value. Just trade him for whatever you can get if they take the salary. Like honestly, or they just should have not tendered him. Like that was the.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly where I was going. Like the drop off from Sosa to Bohm, I think it's a negative drop off, meaning that I think Sosa is better than Bohm. So like it feels like a complete waste of $10 million or $11 million or whatever Bohm is going to get in arbitration to just stick him at third base again. I'm so over watching him personally. I've been over him for years, as people who know me on our Phillies know. He's my least favorite Philly for on the field reasons of all time. So I'm definitely coming at this with some bias. But like Phillies are going to be paying when you combine Sosa and Bohm, they're going to be paying like almost $20 million for third base, and they might not actually use any of that $20 million at the end of the year if it comes up that that Miller is taking the third base job at some point. So I just think it's a bad way to use resources.
I know it's like Bowman will be he'll be 30 in August. His outside of his 2020 rookie year, his OPS plus highest is 114. Like he is what he is, unless some hitting coach can like get his head out of his ass and make him somehow hit for power.
Teach him how to
Which
hit the ball in the air.
I mean, would you be surprised if he leaves us and someone is able to unlock his power? I wouldn't.
What do you mean by unlock his power? Like, do you mean like a 30 home run guy or a 20 home run guy?
Like a 30 home run guy. Like, I mean, come on, if Jose Bautista can't at age 29 become a 54 run hitter, you tell me Alec Bohm can't at 6'5"?
Yeah, I mean, he has the potential. I don't think that's ever really been the question, that he
Yeah,
has
I know,
potential.
but whatever is going on in the Phillies, or like, I just wouldn't be surprised if he's one of those guys that, with a full change of scenery, is able to just like be more than what he was.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Oh
I
no,
think that
exactly.
there's like some personal problems with Bowman we see in, you know, the way that he treats you know, himself when he plays, and kind of the anger
Oh
he
yeah, no,
has.
yeah. Oh, and he says like, "Oh, I'm not going to change my approach at swinging at the first pitch," and stuff like that. So like, unless someone's able to like get in his head and like change his whole like approach, he's never going to change. So,
Right.
but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, no one could be surprised if he leaves, hits. He's this big dude hits for power. I still want people, if we get rid of him, to be like, "Oh man, we have to get rid of Bohm." Like, sometimes people just need to leave, and you might have no value with us.
Right. So you don't think Kevin Long is going to unlock something different in year 7 of Alec Bohm?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Which, actually, why does Alec Bohm, like, why is he not a free agent after this year? Because he's had 6 years where he's played. It must be like some kind of weird thing with a 2020 season, right?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, because he's only had yeah, so 2020 didn't like count as a full year.
I thought it did for like arbitration purposes, but maybe because he only played 44 out of 60 games, it didn't.
Yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, I don't remember how they calculated everything, nor do I really want to put my brain in that.
But it's weird, right? Like, he's played like the majority of the year for 6 years, and he still has a year in team control. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, for 2020 MLB service time calculations.
You said you didn't want to do it, and now you're doing it.
Yeah, one with 172 days equal a full year. Like, but do the pandemic if the season was played at all? A full year was 172 days at MLB roster. A landmark agreement guaranteed if any season was played, players would receive, regardless of how short it was. Uh, hmm. Yeah, I don't know how long was Bum on the roster.
He got caught up in like late July or something, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Well, 42. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's
Fun
weird.
stuff. Fun stuff. I'm really excited to watch another year of Alec Bohm at third base, and I'm sure I'm not gonna absolutely hate it, and it won't make my make my Phillies watching experience worse. So that's cool. Um, but amongst all of these other moves for relief pitchers, the Phillies have also traded for Kyle Backus from the Arizona Diamondbacks. They traded away Avery Owusu Saidu, who I think a lot of people thought was like a super high potential guy, but unlikely to actually reach that potential. So whatever. But this Backhouse guy, he's a lefty. He has like a funky release. He does still have options. What do you think of this move?
Yeah, I mean, because that another like lefty, that can be called up and down. Not really much to say about him because I don't never watched him play, but seems like a maybe fine like 2 out guy you bring in.
Yeah, doesn't seem like he's a strikeout guy. You know, he doesn't seem like he walks a ton of guys either. Um, so you know, maybe he's like a high floor, low ceiling guy. But you know, it'll be cool to have like a lefty with a funky release. If you watch him pitch, I don't know how anybody hits that. It's kind of similar to, you know, how I feel about the Rogers brothers. Like, I don't know how anybody ever hits the Rogers brothers. Like, he kind of has a similar look to that. But you know, it'll be interesting to see how he turns out.
Yeah. Oh, let me
Cool.
see my. I'm looking at the delivery right now.
Yeah, it's very funky. It's like very much from the side, and
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I just don't know how anybody picks the ball up with something like that. It's crazy, crazy. But
yeah. I mean Avery. Oh, I can't remember bother pronouncing the last name.
AOA,
Uh, yeah, AOA. Yeah, I mean, he spent 2025 in uh low A and high A, and in low A he was a year older than the competition and didn't do much, and then he was the right age in high A and didn't do much. So, yeah.
I don't think that the Phillies are going to miss AOA too much. But, interesting to see how
Big,
they're kind of putting together this offseason.
tall, fast guy. That's really what it seems. 6'4", 230 and fast. Seems like one of our old, like a Greg Golson type guy.
Go with the tools.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like, do you think that these acquisitions of kind of getting rid of Strahm, adding in Keller, adding in Beckhouse, whatever, like, do you think that this kind of stuff, do you think the Phillies are better than they were the last time we talked? Or do you think they're worse? Or do you think it's the same?
I think Keller could be a very good acquisition for the back end of the bullpen. Gives us, if he continues his trajectory as being a really good setup guy, gives us a good seventh, eighth right-handed pitcher that's not only Kirkering. So,
Yeah,
we needed
I
that.
mean, you got to feel good about the right side of the bullpen, right? Like, you have three relievers. I mean, Kirkering, maybe not everybody would trust, but I think most people would trust Kirkering. Um, and I think you got to feel great about the right side of the bullpen. The left side, I think it's very questionable. I kind of think that I could see the Phillies needing to desperately trade for a lefty reliever in July now, which could get expensive because there's not many of them around the league, which again makes me wonder why they let Strahm go for what seemed like so cheap, because it's not like there's lefty relievers that are growing on trees these days. So I am very concerned about that. The Phillies, I think, might have some struggle with getting lefties out late in games, but time will tell.
Yeah, I'm looking at our 25-25 draft. How many left-handed pitchers did we draft from college? 1, 2, 3. So 3 lefties we drafted in like all college. So who knows?
Yeah, time will tell. But what are you kind of expecting, Jeremy, for like the rest of the Phillies offseason? Like, do you think that they are pretty much done, as they maybe kind of talked about a little bit, or do you think that there's more yet to come? Obviously, they need a catcher, but kind of what are you expecting from now until the pitchers and catchers report in a couple months?
Yeah. I mean, what's his face? Imai, like, if because we're supposed to be in on Imai, so I think once his decision is made, and then that will determine really if we were done. Because if he doesn't sign with us, will the Phillies be like, okay, we can use this money on Bregman or Bichette?
Right. I I would be pretty surprised if the Phillies made another big acquisition. I guess if I had to say one of those guys, like maybe they get Imai, but I think that's like a very, very low probability, like less than 5% still. I think that the Bregman and Bichette stuff, well, I would love it, and I think you all know how I would have preferred that to just re-signing Kyle Schwarber. Um, I just don't think either of those guys are realistic at this point, unless you can dump like a sizable amount of money from, like, I guess you'd have to dump Castellanos and get a lot of salary relief, which is unlikely, and then the same for Taiwan Walker. Um, so while I would
Yeah.
like to
So
see it, go
yeah.
ahead.
So I mean, like the reason why like people say, oh, why don't they spend the money on if they're going on Mai or anyone else? Because Imai lets it into the market.
Right.
That's why they were willing to. So it's more than just his salary. Like Bregman isn't gonna give us a chance to break into the Japanese market and get a lot more money that way and
Yeah.
help off like set. So
I
yeah, so
wish
the uh,
I wish Bryce
oh,
Harper could still play the outfield, because if he could still play the outfield, that like Munetaka Murakami contract, like maybe the guy just can't hit. Maybe he'll strike out too much, whatever. But the Phillies just didn't have a place for him, because it seems like he's not really going to stick at third. Maybe he can stick at first. Like, if we could just throw Harper in the outfield again, I would be totally down to have Murakami sign for what he signed with the White Sox of like 2 years, $34 million, and just see what happens. But unfortunately, the Phillies just don't have that flexibility, creativity, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, I think also if he was if Murakami batted righty, his market changes tremendously.
Right. Yeah, because as we talked about all offseason, everybody's a left-handed hitter now.
Yep.
But,
everyone's a left-handed hitter, and the Phillies don't let anyone struggle against lefties.
Yeah.
And I mean, even like I heard like high hopes recently. They were like, "Oh, Marsh can't hit lefties," or everything. But it's like I don't care if he can't hit lefties. We never sign anyone who can hit lefties in his place that is even better in defensively. So it doesn't make sense not to stick with him. I keep seeing someone similar too. Oh, Marsh can't lefties. Like we never play anyone that can. Rojas can't hit freaking lefties.
Right. Unless you get
So,
some kind of platoon partner, which who knows if they're going to pay for that.
Yeah, and just like platoons used to be like, oh, this guy could hit too. It's just like, I hate platooning players where the half of the platoon can't hit and can't field, and that's what the Phillies have been doing for like 5+ years now. It's so dumb. Like, don't platoon because you have to. Like, if you yeah.
No, I think what you're saying is totally fair. One more piece of news that we'll get into, kind of about the catching hole that the Phillies have now. It's been reported a little bit that the Phillies might have some interest in Victor Caratini. Now, Victor Caratini spent the last couple years with the Astros. He also played some first base, in the last couple years. So, he's not your kind of have this guy catch for 130 games like you have with JT Realmuto, but he's probably going to cost like a third of the price of JT Realmuto. He's still a guy that has an OPS plus around your average, which for a catcher, fine. First base, maybe not. He's a switch hitter. So I think there's something to like here. And I think if you want to, go for like a dollar per WAR perspective, Caratini for $5 or $6 million is probably a better signing than Realmuto for $15 million a year. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a free agent. I wouldn't mind him as a replacement for JT. Just because, if JT doesn't accept the Phillies' offer, that's basically what I would only offer him, and I wouldn't offer more. And so, I'll be fine with Caratini for a year, and then it's like 2 years younger than JT, a lot less mileage on the legs, and honestly, pretty much the same offensively the past couple of years.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, his OPS plus over the last couple of years has been, above 100, which is what we'd like to see. And I think for
JT's
everything,
JT the past 2 years is 105, 107, 91. So, yeah.
No, that's totally fair. I think that's something that Phillies could try to do is maybe add their organizational depth at the catcher position, which I know a lot of people are saying is a big weakness in the organization, and it is. But I think that like the major league-ish quality catching is okay. If you add a guy like Caratini and you still have Marchand, which you will have Marchand, and you have Stubbs, which the Phillies will still have Stubbs. He signed like that split kind of contract. That's like 3 like major league to major league-ish quality players, and I think that's
all
okay.
good. All 3 are good defensively. So
right, and like out of the catching position, like I don't need somebody that's has an 800 OPS. That's just not realistic. Maybe Realmuto used to be that for the Phillies, but most catchers are not that, and I don't want to pay Realmuto just because of what he did in the past. I want to pay somebody for what they're going to be doing over the duration of their contract.
Yeah, it's just it's really just JT's like it's not really like I mean last year was his power, but the past 2 years he's just like stopped getting on base. It's just bizarre. Like he doesn't take walks anymore. It's weird.
Right. I mean, you look at his on base percentage over his first few years with the Phillies, and it was like the 340s ish was probably around the average, and now 310, 322, 315 over the last 3 years. So definitely
it's weird. Like, and then he's just like he gets I see he gets like the 3 ball counts in his chaser. It's bizarre how he just like doesn't take the walk anymore.
Right. And the
You only
batting
have like
average has dipped a little bit, but not nearly as much as like the,
no,
walks have.
no, no. Or just yeah, it's just like yeah,
Interesting. Like Realmuto, we have clearly seen a drop off at this point, right? Like you go look at his
yeah,
last 4 years, 6.5 WAR, which is crazy. 2022. Like I don't think I realized in the middle of 2022 just how good of a year he was having. 23, 3.5 WAR, 24, 3 WAR, 25, 2.5 WAR. And now it's the point where his OPS plus last year was 91. Um,
yeah,
like
yeah, and like and his numbers were only saved from a insane July where his BABIP was 473.
right. Feel like Realmuto's a sinking ship, and I don't want to pay him what he's probably going to get, like $15 million across 2 or 3 years. I don't know,
Exactly. Yeah.
but
2 years, I would be 2 years because then hopefully you can just make him like a backup or whatever, and then have someone next. Yeah.
right, 2 years you hold your nose and you're like, I guess that's fine. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Is Victor Caratini going to be better than JT Realmuto next year? He might.
Yeah. He might. He might. Yeah. He might be this like the same. Like the past couple years, he's pretty much been the same offensively.
Right. Yeah, and he's going to be probably less than half of the cost. I don't know. It's interesting. I doubt that the catcher is gonna like make or break the Phillies next year unless they just don't sign anybody and go into like Marchand and Stubbs.
I
It's
know.
like
Oh
their
no.
two
Yeah.
catchers.
Yeah. Well, no. It's like everyone gets mad in the playoffs on like Stott, Marsh, whatever. But if Schwarber, JT, Turner hit, like they're like it should be relying on the bottom of the order.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
the bottom of the order, like yeah, like oh no, our catcher isn't great offensively. That's why we didn't win the World Series. Like, come on.
There's like 25 teams that have catchers that aren't good offensively. Right. Like it doesn't make you uniquely bad in that way. Right. It's just an easy thing to complain about because
Yeah, I mean, Chooch in 08 had an OPS of 620. Like, he was terrible offensively that year. Like,
yeah.
come on.
But nobody cared. Nobody cared because he did his job. He was a good defensive catcher. Everybody loved
Yeah,
Chooch. But it is crazy. The drop off in like Realmuto's power, like 12 home runs last year. Like obviously I watched it, I knew that.
well, it's
Like
everyone in the Phillies last year. They couldn't hit me like the pitches down the middle. They just fell off.
I feel like they're late to everything. Like, Harper is late to like every single hittable fastball, it feels like.
Yeah, yeah, no, I don't. Well, yeah, it's just you hope it's just like some bizarre, horrible luck.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Um that's pretty much what I had for today. We kind of did a little summary of this last week. Do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about today, Jeremy?
Yeah, just really quick. It's pretty funny. The Mets now have Luke Weaver, Devin Williams, and Clay Holmes, the past three Yankees closers on the roster.
It's
Past
very
three
funny.
failed Yankees. Yeah, it's just yeah.
You think they're gonna find a way to get Chapman there now?
And yeah, no, the way the Red Sox let him leave. Oh, but like, I think I heard it on the High Hopes, but like, yeah, Diaz like went to the Dodgers because they signed Devin Williams without consulting with him. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, no, it's pretty funny. Though again, like it's another guy where like Edwin Diaz, like relief pitcher. I would have rather the Phillies kind of gone into this offseason. I would have rather they not do the Duran trade at all because like relief pitchers are cheap compared to every other position because they just don't have as much of an impact as other positions have, right? Like you're pitching 1 inning of a game, maybe your bullpen combined, you're getting like 3 innings. I don't know. Like if you can sign Edwin Diaz for the $23 million that he signed for, and you get like a top notch closer, I think that's just a better use of resources than the Phillies trading away 2 top 100 prospects for Joan Duran. And I love Joan Duran, but I just think it's a bad use of resources when you can use those resources to trade for a position that's more valuable.
I think no, I think we sold Abel very high as we could get, and so I don't think we were going to get much more out of that value trade.
That's true. No, that is really. We sold Abel at a
And
high, but
yeah, and
we could
Taillon
have traded for something else.
Taillon is high ranking because he's young. His numbers aren't great.
Yeah.
So Those prospects flame out all the time.
It's true, but it was a big package at the time. Maybe it won't turn out well, but at the time it was a package of 2 top 100 prospects, and I just think that's. I would have rather you not gotten a relief pitcher with those resources. I would have rather you gotten somebody in a more impactful position to play third base, play somewhere in the outfield, do like anything else except for like a relief pitcher, and then just sign relief pitchers because they're cheap. I mean, we got like a really good.
When Duran goes into the Hall of Fame as a Philly, you will have to wear a paper bag over your head in the audience.
Yeah, if that happens, I will. I totally will do that if that's what happens. Like, Duran's great, right? This doesn't come from out of a hatred of Duran. I think that it's nice to have like a more trusted guy in the ninth inning. Phillies haven't had that for a little while, but it's just the resource management part of it that I'm a little bit more critical of. I'm pretty frequently critical of the Phillies, is what I'm learning.
Yeah, make you the GM.
Hey, out of the park baseball. I do my job. But very cool. Anything else that you had for us today, Jeremy?
Nope.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Jeremy, for being a part of this. If anybody has any questions in the future, put them in our podcast channel on Discord. We have active community on there, especially during the season, but we do want to get some questions in the off season as well. So would love to see you there. Link to that Discord channel is in the show notes. So I will talk to you all again very soon. We do have to do that episode, Jeremy, where we
I know. The Strahm trade ruined everything because we could have done a quick Brad Keller. Like, oh yeah, we got him. Cool.
Right. I know. It was too active for the Phillies, but I feel like that's like we'll get it in at some point.
Yes.
But thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jeremy. And we will talk to you all again very soon.
Bye.